To me, this is worth us giving it a shot. I'm very blunt. I'm very to the point. I'm gonna give you lots of crap.
Okay, so unload the emotional bullshit and move on.
And I get to help thousands of people, which is amazing.
It takes balls, it takes confidence to sort of step out there and say, this is me in all that I am. Reaching your dreams, loving your life, it means investing in you.
Hey everyone, love video number 1, the myth, the secrets, and the legend. So I thought I'd do my very first video with this as my background. So I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of details so you understand. So if you look up above me, that is actually the candle that was done. That candle is from our wedding. That is the actual sand that we did in our sand ceremony. And then we've got our bride and groom glasses, and of course our wedding picture, and then our couple symbol above. On top of that, because I'm talking about love, and let's just be honest, that is not always so much fun, depending on what side of the love train you're sitting on. I thought maybe just in case you guys needed a martini, because I don't know about you, but typically when I'm talking about relationships, I like to drink. So let's get to the basics. What I want to talk about today is sort of the very first part. So I made the title The Myth, the Secrets, the Legend, because there is so much out there that is, for the most part, a crock. And I'm going to explain why I say that. So the first thing for you to understand is there is so much stuff out there about what love should look like, what relationships should look like, how we should feel when we're in a relationship, who we should be when we're in a relationship, what we should do when we get into the relationship. What else is there? Caring a lot about what others think about our relationship. There's so many ideas and versions and scenarios out there. And the problem, I think that's the right word. I don't know what a better word to use. But the problem with that scenario is that there is actually not one way to have a relationship. There's your way, and then there's my way, and then there's everybody else's ways. It's kind of like there's 3 sides to every story. There's your story, their story, and the actual story. When it comes to relationships, when it comes to finding what you want, falling in love, building a relationship, when it comes to meeting the right person, there isn't sort of a secret code. There's a vibration. And the whole point of this beginning part of this video series is for me to share with you vibration, energy, how we attract, how we get what it is we're actually looking for. There's a lot of struggle when it comes to this because there's a lot of, again, ideas, ways, things. But there's also a lot of, fictional things that get us really confused in what we're looking for. So, an example. I still to this day, even before I ever met my husband and have had many years of a great relationship, I have always loved fictional books. And because I get bored easily, and because of how my mind works, I actually really love romance smut books. Like, let's just be honest. I'm a fan of the romance, down and dirty smut books. Okay, so I can tell you in all fairness, 50 Shades of Grey was definitely a series that I enjoyed reading, which is awesome. But before I ever met the man of my dreams, they put all kinds of sort of ideas in my head of what I thought I should be looking for, or what I would want to look for, or what would be perfect. And I don't necessarily say that that's a bad thing, because they also gave me an idea of what I could look for. But outside of that, I also had, what my parents would say, what friends would say, what family would say, what I should be thankful to have, what I should be looking for, what I shouldn't be looking for, why I should be looking for that, why I shouldn't be looking for that. And here's one of the biggest ones when I was single. And I don't know if it's just because this is my family, or if it's like everybody else, and this is actually a sort of common denominator. But I also got told a lot and had conversations with myself because of this a lot about what I should be thankful for, what I should be looking for, what I need to change. This is the big one. What I needed to change in me in order to have a relationship. And that one was huge. And the biggest reason for me that it was huge is because the things that I kept getting told or read that I should change or do in order to find and have the love of my life and have a wonderful, loving relationship, they didn't fit me. And that's really what I want to do today is I want you to take all those theories and all those stories and all those ideas of who you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to be about and how you're supposed to find love and how you're supposed to stay in love. And I want you to take them and like stick them in a big ball and throw them in the damn trash, because it's a crock. It's all a crock. It doesn't matter. So there's a few things that you need to understand. The first thing that you need to understand is that it doesn't actually matter what you're looking for. It only matters that you know what you're looking for. And just so you guys know, I'm constantly going to move my eyes around and look all over. And a big part of that, for those of you that don't know me, is because I'm a clairvoyant. And as much as I have a topic, as much as, I have the ideas of what I want to share, the universe plays such a big role in this that when I look over, it's because I'm sort of picking up stuff here, or I'm picking stuff up here, or I'm writing stuff down here. Because if you've ever had a session with me, you also know that when I write and take notes, it keeps me sort of on balance. So what matters is what you're looking for, okay? What matters is that you know who you want to be in a relationship. And what matters is that you know that regardless, and this is so important, and I'm going to drill this into you in today's session, regardless of how much extra weight you carry or don't carry, how big your boobs are, how small your boobs are, regardless of where you live, what your economical status is, how good your job is, how many kids you have, how many animals you have, how many dogs you have, how many cats you have, how many pet snakes you have, I don't care. Regardless of where you are in your life, one of our born-given rights as human beings is to find and have love. Okay? So the problem in finding it, having it, or keeping it is not actually who you are. I would tell you that if you were being honest with yourself, you would probably discover that a part of the problem in past relationships, or a part of the problem in not finding it, or a part of the problem in struggling in the one you're in, is that you're not being you, that you're not authentically being the person that you're supposed to be, living the way that you live. So this was really important, and I'm going to go into a couple of directions today, but you guys know how this information works, and that by me talking like this, if you've ever seen me before or you've ever done any work with me before, then you know that you get to catch things on as I go off into my little rants and tirades, okay? Before I ever met my husband, I struggled like everybody else does with love, and I struggled with what it was supposed to look like. I struggled with who I was supposed to be. So I'm just going to give you examples. I guess I was taught sort of old-fashioned, because I believed that in order to have the love of my life and to be happy in a relationship, I needed to be sort of the superwoman. I needed to be the woman that kept clean house and you're going to laugh when you hear the rest of this story, but, always did the laundry and made sure supper was cooked and made sure that my man knew how much he was loved and cared for. And important to understand, I still believe that to some degree that's important, but where it created issues for me is that doesn't even begin to describe who I am. It doesn't even come close to describing who I am. First of all, unless, at least before we moved into a smaller place, now it's clean all the time, but before, unless I had company coming, there was stuff on my couch, and my clothes were always thrown all over my bedroom, and my bedroom's always been a disaster. It doesn't really matter if I'm married or not married, it'll always be a disaster. I am naturally a reasonably frantic person. I require a lot of solitude. So even before I was in a relationship, I required spending a lot more of my own time at home and in my own space. That was extremely important to me. I love to cook, but I love to cook for events, and I despise cooking because I have to. Laundry. I'm just going to give you an example of laundry. I don't do laundry, and I'm really lucky that I married a man that for the last couple of decades at least has been doing laundry. But to be completely honest with you, before he started doing the laundry in our relationship, my mom came and did my laundry. I was in my 20s going on 30, and my mom still showed up to grab my laundry, do my laundry, and bring it back and fold it. Fortunately for me, I was very lucky because I had a child, and my mom was always scared that my child wouldn't have any clothes if she didn't actually do the laundry. So she'd come and do my laundry for me because I don't do laundry, okay? I'm the person that goes shopping and buys something new. I require a lot of downtime. I like peace and quiet. I am a huge advocate of my bathtub. I have more books than you could ever possibly imagine. I read all the time. I really love my downtime. I'm really picky about the shows that I like to watch on TV. And this one's gonna get you. I know this is gonna be a real shocker. I am naturally a control freak. Naturally. I literally come by it DNA naturally, okay? I require security and stability, and so I feel like I need to control things like so many other people, because without it, I don't feel like I'm safe and secure and all of those lovely things. So, on top of that, I was also almost 500 pounds and had the belief system that being a big girl, you'd never find who you were looking for. So before I met my husband, before I started this whole figuring it out the right way scenario and falling in love with the right person, I used to attract relationships that were awful. They were awful. So the first major relationship I attracted was severely abusive, and I married the man knowing full well that he would actually hurt me. That didn't work. Fortunately for me, I ended up expecting, even though I was told I couldn't have any children, and I ended up expecting a beautiful child, which gave me the strength very shortly after she was born, to leave and stand on my own 2 feet and actually get out of this relationship, which is great. But even after that, the men that I attracted were, how do I describe this? So the men that I attracted were, first of all, chubby chasers, because let's face it, attractive, well put together women would have never chosen them. So the first thing is they were chubby chasers. The second thing is they were useless. And I'm even saying that nicely. Like, I'm actually not even judging when I say that. I mean, can't keep a job, can't pay their own bills. And I convinced myself that because I wasn't the Leave It to Beaver Susie homemaker, instead I had to be the person that made the money and took care of everything and gave them everything that they could possibly want, because then they might love me. And if they loved me, then I'm not alone. So needless to say, I wasn't that great at making my choices. And that's really, a big part of what today is about. I wasn't great at making my choices because the things that I've been told over the years that I should be looking for, that I should be expecting in a relationship, that I shouldn't settle with less than. And those stories, you guys, they're just not true. So for me, when I got to the process that I was ready to actually allow an amazing relationship into my life, there were a few things that had to happen. I'm going to give you a step-by-step today, just in how to sort of get there, okay? Because you're going to discover through this series that you're going to train your partners. Whether you have attracted them well or you haven't attracted them, you're going to train exactly how they should treat you and what should happen. That's one of the things you're going to learn. You're going to learn how to attract that actual relationship, and not a relationship, the relationship, the one that can actually work. You're going to discover a lot about you and what you deserve and what you should be deserving and what you should be expecting and why you should be expecting it. You're going to really do a lot of thinking about what you're actually looking for and what you bring to the table. Now, this is important. This part's important to understand because I have so many clients and I have way more clients that have actually found love listening to my tools and have amazing relationships than I have ever haven't found. Now, when I'm telling you that, you got to understand, absolutely, I have clients that have taken a course I've done or done sessions with me looking for love, and they haven't found it. So I could probably say, I want to be fair about this. So I'm thinking that I can recall six people in my career of over 30 years that I can recall have not actually found what they're looking for, that have come to me for help looking for it. I can recall lots of them that haven't actually come to me for help and just, did one session or whatever, but actually legitimately came to me looking for it. No, I need to take that back. I just thought of a seventh one. So we're going to say under 10. Okay, we're going to just play it on the safe side. We're going to say under 10. But I will tell you that in my career, and we're talking thousands of people, so let's do a rough estimate of, I don't know, 500 in the last 30 years that have purposely come to me with the intention of looking for relationships. Out of the 500 that have come and put the work in and took the steps that I told them to take, I can think of 10 or under that have not succeeded. The rest of them are in relationships and they're happy and they're living the life that they want. They found them without trying, without looking. They didn't all go on online dating sites. They didn't all go searching in clubs. They didn't go into things that made them uncomfortable. And they didn't actually change and alter who they are. And this is really important for you to understand, because in this program with me, you're going to discover you do not actually need to change who you are. You need to actually discover who you are. You need to be real with who you are and what you're really looking for and what you're really and why you're really looking for it, because it doesn't matter what the reason is. Okay, so there's so many reasons for us to want love. 1, we're lonely. 2, we don't actually want to be alone. We want a partner that we can do these things with. 3, we want security and stability. 4, let's see what else. There's just so many, but the typical ones. So I'm just going to go with sort of the typical ones. Typical ones are you're tired of being alone. You think that life is really hard by yourself. It's another one of the big reasons why so many relationships stay as relationships, even though they necessarily shouldn't, because we're so scared to do it on our own. Believe it or not, I have a lot of people that I have come across over the years that also really want to find someone to take care of them. And it doesn't matter what the reason is. It doesn't matter why you want love. It matters that you want love, and it matters that you accept you, what you're actually looking for, and why you're looking for it. That's what matters. That's what's going to put the vibration on track. That's what's going to get you to find what you're actually looking for, but more importantly, going to give you what you're looking for when you find it. So this series is not just about how to find love. It's not just about what to do with it when you're in it. It's about all of it. It's the entire meal deal. It's the entire package. It's everything you could possibly need to work on and focus on in order to have that amazing relationship. There are certain things that you will not be able to do. So I have some truths that are really going to sort of irritate you today. It's just the way it is. Number 1, you're not actually going to be able to change anybody permanently. So there are many of us out there that are famous for looking for the ones that need to be broken. And with any luck, I'll get you past that a little bit through this program. If I don't, and you really just are looking for someone who's broken that you can change, I have good news for you, because people are looking for someone to change them, okay? But you can't change them unless they want the change, okay? And it's not your job unless they want the change. Doesn't mean we don't try to do it. It's still the truth of it. Unless they want the changes made that you want them to make, they're not going to, okay? Another myth. Let's see. You can't control love. Okay, you can meet And I deal with this all the time. People that you are convinced are perfect for you. The perfect guy, the perfect girl. This has got to be the one. I've never felt a connection like this, KJ. This is my twin soul. I know it's my twin soul. But we're not together. Okay? Chances are really, really good if they're your twin soul and you're not together, and we will do lots of talking about twin soul through this program. But if they're your twin soul and you guys aren't together and you can't make it work, they're probably not your twin soul. I mean, we're talking, truth is, we're talking a percentage of maybe 1% of human population. 1% of human population will in fact meet their twin soul and not get to have their twin soul. We're talking 90% of population that will meet somebody and be convinced that that is absolutely the person I'm supposed to share my life with, and then it doesn't happen, or doesn't come to pass, and they're convinced they've met their twin soul and they're destined in this life to not have love. What's another myth? Love is for the chosen. That is such a crock. Love is for everybody. Doesn't matter how big you are. It doesn't matter how small you are. It doesn't matter how tall you are. It doesn't matter how short you are. It doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter how unintelligent you are. It doesn't matter if you have disabilities. It doesn't matter if you don't have disabilities. It doesn't matter if you're a single parent. It doesn't matter if you're a single animal owner. It doesn't matter. Everybody gets to have love. And the only thing that's stopping you from having it is the belief system inside of you that is preventing you from attracting it. That's what's stopping you from having it. And the only thing that's preventing the relationship that you're choosing to not work is the vibration that you're in. Now, that vibration can be because you're choosing it for the wrong reasons, or because you're trying to alter it for the wrong reasons. Either way, vibration is everything. Energy and vibration is absolutely everything. So now I'll give you some truths about relationships. Truths about relationships. The most amazing relationships on the planet are not actually, in fact, perfect. They're amazing and they're wonderful and they last for forever. They're not imperfect. They're not perfect. Twin souls do actually fight and argue. I know that's hard to believe. Let's see what else. This one was a tough one for me. I'm not always right. You're not always right. I try not to tell my husband that very often because I don't want it to go to his head, but I'm not always right. Let's see. What else are some truths? Oh, here's one. You can actually find the love of your life without going anywhere or doing anything. I know. And this one was a real tough one for me because in all the courses that I've taught and all the things that I've done, I've always taken the approach of, unless you want to marry your pizza delivery guy, you should probably step out of your box. And that was because I was trying to get people to sort of do something, not actually because they had to do something. I was trying to change the equation that they were going with or what they were doing to prevent the attraction from happening. But it's actually a myth. The truth is you don't, in fact, have to do anything. As a matter of fact, I met my twin soul while sitting at home in my pajamas, playing chess online to a stranger. He was a friend of mine, but I got messaged online. It's going to age me in a program called ICQ by the love of my life without even realizing it was the love of my life. I didn't think I was ready. I didn't think I was prepared. I didn't think I was interested. And I even made on my description of who I was that I was divorced with 2 kids and no, I didn't want to talk. So nothing deterred the right person from coming into my life. And I've been with this man for 2 decades. Okay. We have been together for 2 decades. We've built a family together. We've built a life together. We've bought homes and sold homes together. We have gone from being a family that's huge with 4 children and then adopting 2 children, so 6 children, to it, and the house always being full in this huge house. For any of you that have been to see me in person, then you'll know that, big house, all the fun stuff, to now a little condo, just the 2 of us, and life is glorious. We've been through sort of every roller coaster and everything in between, financial gain, financial struggle, everything in the mix, and we've done just fine. We've done just fine because we both, even if we didn't realize it, changed our direction and our focus on what we thought we were looking for, how we should be looking for it, what we should be doing in finding love. And when we found it, neither of us actually believed at the time that we were ready for love. So I'm going to give you sort of the step 1. That's what I want today to be about. I want today to be about the step 1. So I've given you some information, but now I want you to sort of focus on step 1. And step one is, I want you to grab yourself a pad of paper, okay? And step one is, I want you to write out, who am I? Okay, that's step one. And the reason that these videos are 2 weeks apart instead of like everybody else wanting them to be all instantly so you can just do all the steps really quick and wave your magic wand and get the love of your life or have the relationship that's just amazing for you. The reason that we're doing it bi-weekly is because if you want something, you have to do something. Okay, yes, the law of attraction is amazing, and yes, it's easy, and yes, it comes across effortless, but it doesn't mean it doesn't take effort. Okay, it takes effort. It takes effort in changing your vibration, it takes effort in changing your emotion, and it takes effort in changing your language. So the very first step that you're going to do is, on a piece of paper, I want you to write, who am I? And be honest with yourself, okay? I want you to write out the good, the bad, and the ugly. This is me, okay? This is me. I am messy. I would prefer to order takeout before actually cooking. I am a procrastinator. I am extremely giving to the people in my life. I am helpful. I'm kind. I'm empathic. I am honest. I'm scared of commitment. I have a hard time trusting other people. I have a hard time trusting me and what I'm actually attracted to and if I'll find it. I don't like laundry. I don't care if there's dishes in the sink. I'm typically the person that doesn't put my Christmas tree up till really close to Christmas, which just on this video, you'll see my Christmas tree's up and running. It's been up since before December. But that's only because there's no kids here and I got to get a different tree and it's white and really, really pretty. So now I want it up all the time. Let's see, what else am I? I am overweight and unhappy with my body. I am, and I'm just gonna, because I'm talking about me at this particular moment, I'm just gonna prerequisite that because I'm a lot more happy with my body than I was when I was 500 pounds. Being 240 pounds is a lot easier to handle than being 500, just for the record. But, let's see. I'm an insomniac. I have a hard time sleeping. I think way too much. I stress myself out. I feel like I need to be in control of everything. I don't always believe that my outcomes are going to be good. Do you see where I'm coming from? Just who am I? Write them out or talk them on your phone so that you've got them, but get real. This is who I am. This is who I am. Okay? So that's your first thing. And then your second thing is what I need in love. That one's going to take probably a little bit more time. I mean, you're going to be able to have easy answers right away, but probably a little more time. And I want you to really think about it. When I did this, when I actually did these steps, what I was looking for was sort of really hard for me to articulate because I did these steps before I actually thought of a relationship that I could look towards, because I couldn't look towards my parents, I couldn't look towards anyone I'd ever had, and I couldn't look towards anyone I'd ever seen. And so right after I did this part, I actually sat down and asked myself very seriously and legitimately, is there anybody in my life that has the kind of relationship that would come even close to what I'm looking for? And when I did that, I actually discovered that yes, I did have someone. I have an auntie and uncle, and they, for me, became sort of the vision board, if you will, of what I was looking for in a relationship. And the great thing about that, and the thing that was so amazing about that, and also something I'm going to suggest that you do, the great thing about me coming to that realization was also my auntie was not a tiny woman. My uncle was not this gorgeous rock mythical creature. She was a single mom with a lot of kids. She was a widowed mom with a lot of kids when they met, and he was a widowed dad. She really struggled with finances and worked very, very hard to keep the roof over her head and her children's head. She had lost my uncle, my original uncle, her husband. He had passed away, and so money was very, very tight. Her actual children, older children, had to help in order to make sure that all the bills could get paid and everything could get covered and they could keep their home. And they met and they fell in love and they cuddled all the time and they held hands everywhere and they went everywhere and did everything together and they were best of friends. And more importantly than that, my uncle absolutely worshipped and cherished the ground my auntie walks on. And that's what I was looking for. So when I was thinking, what do I need in love? This isn't about what should you need. This isn't about what would be the right thing to need. This isn't about what you're offering. This is about what you need. And when I thought about that, you know, the truth of the matter is I need a lot of attention, and I'm someone who feels far better when I'm pampered. I love feeling taken care of. And so I needed someone who would pamper me and who would spoil me and who would make me feel like I'm the most important person in the world. I needed someone who would accept me with all of my flaws and really see my worth, especially when I didn't. And so that's what I want you to do, is I want you to write down what you need in love. Okay, there were things I didn't need that I didn't write down. I'm different than a lot of people. I'm very career dominated. I'm very business dominated. So I didn't need somebody who made a lot of money. That was irrelevant to me. I could make a lot of money, and I didn't require that, but you might, and that's okay. I didn't need someone who had a big successful career. Honestly, I get pretty jealous and insecure. It's just a quality of mine. And so, you know, in fairness to me, if my husband would have had a really big career, then we'd have been in competition with each other. I mean, maybe that could have been a good thing. We could have done really well with that, but I wanted and needed somebody that would take care of me and honor me and respect me and love me through all of my crazy and be okay with my crazy. I needed them to be really open to me being intuitive and to my spirituality. They certainly didn't need to agree with my spirituality or follow my spirituality, but they couldn't think, for me, they couldn't think that the psychic world was a fraud. Because if they thought that, we couldn't be together. It plays such, clairvoyant world plays such a big role in who I am and what I do on a daily basis that just wasn't an option. So your step number 2 is what I need in love. And don't be scrimpy, okay? Do not, for the love of all that is you, be scrimpy or short-sighted about it. Be honest with yourself. Take this next 2 weeks to do these 3 steps that I'm telling you. Take them, work with them, use them. Be honest with them. Take every day. That's why I want you to put it on paper, okay? Take every day. Have one part of it is who am I? The second part of what do I need in love? And then the third part is what do I tell myself about love? And this one is a lot harder because you don't actually realize what you're telling yourself about love and relationships. And the problem with that, so I'm just going to explain this in a nutshell. You're going to get so much more information about this over the process, but just really quickly, the universe does not actually listen to the words that are going on in your head. So they don't actually pay any attention to your words. And the only way that they pay attention to your thoughts isn't necessarily thoughts, but energy and vibration. However, you pay attention to your words, and your words become your belief system. They become your emotional output in your mind of what you believe you're going to achieve. So it's really important to start paying attention. And it's just making a choice to pay attention of what do I tell myself about me and love and in relationships? Do I tell myself I can't trust anybody? Do I tell myself that I'm not lovable? Do I tell myself I'm not attractive enough? Do I tell myself that I would find somebody if I lost weight? Do I tell myself that I would find somebody if I got a better job? Do I tell myself that love is difficult? Do I tell myself that no one will ever accept me for who I am? What do I tell myself? Okay? And this one's going to take you the 2 weeks till your next video. And the reason that it's going to take that time is because every time you're thinking about love, I want you to pay attention to the conversation that you're having in your head. I want you to pay attention to the words that you're using because they matter. They play such an integral role in what you're finding and what you're not finding. These are the 3 steps that I want you to take today, okay? So step 1 is who am I? Honest, good, bad, and ugly. What I need in love, again, honest, good, bad, and ugly. And what do I tell myself about love for me and relationships, the good, the bad, and the ugly? It's time to get real, okay? The third part you're going to discover is where a lot of your limitations lie. And that's the part that we're going to want to work on what you're saying to yourself, okay? And this is a part of how we start to change or alter that conversation. So you'll remember I said just a few minutes ago about how, when I was trying to tell myself what I need in love, and it seemed so out of the norm compared to everything I'd seen. I really had to sit down and think about if I've ever seen it. And I was very lucky because I had seen it, and that's how I managed to get through number 3. Okay, so that's how I managed to actually redirect the conversations that I was having in my head about myself. And the reason that I was able to do that is because, again, the kind of relationship that came close, not exact, but came close to what I thought I would be looking for was my auntie and uncle. And I'm a researcher by nature, so I actually contacted my auntie and uncle, and I asked them all kinds of questions, and I asked them to tell me, just truth, what really does your love look like? And I asked for some clarity and some understanding on, what life was like when they first met, and I did all that because I needed to understand. But the biggest reason that I want you to think about, try to find in your mind a memory or an example that's real, not a book or something that you heard could possibly exist, but real, about an amazing relationship. The reason that I want you to find that is because I want you to be able to look at those people that are in that relationship. That's why we want them to be real, because I want you to be able to look at them, and I want you to be able to see their imperfections. It was so amazing for me because for an example of some of the things that I would tell myself about love and relationships is that I would never be loved because I was too overweight. And that one was a big one for me. And that I would never be cherished or pampered because I was a big girl, and because I had such unhealthy eating habits and disliked myself so much and disliked the way that I looked, I would never actually find love. Good, amazing, pampering, make you feel like you're a goddess love. And what was great for me is I was able to go through all of these things that I tell myself about relationships, and then I was able to look at my auntie and uncle's relationship, and I was able to see my auntie wasn't perfect. She barely even had time to give the man coming into her life. She was raising 7 kids, paying a mortgage for a house that, and you gotta understand, just some background here, when she was in her first marriage to my exceptional uncle, because somehow my auntie managed to find 2 incredibly amazing men in her life, she was a stay-at-home mom. She didn't actually work. So when she lost her husband, she had to go find work. So it wasn't like she had a big, successful career all lined up. She had to go find it wherever she could find it. And so I was able to look at their life, and it was able to dispel, if that makes any sense, so many of the things that I was saying to myself about me in relationships. Because when you actually see that someone can do it and that person isn't the fictitious character of perfect that you think could only happen in one of those relationships, you discover that these things that you're telling yourself, these stories, these conversations that you say to yourself about love and relationships with you, they're not true. And once you discover that they're not true, you stop saying them. And once you stop saying them, you start actually shifting the conversation into why I can have it, and why it's okay, and why it's possible, instead of why it isn't and why I can't. Okay? So those are the steps that I would like you to work on in this first 2-week process. Really take the time, really take the energy. I would love to tell you that you can have something without doing anything, but it's just not true. It's not true. It doesn't have to be hard work, but it does have to be real, and it has to be honest. And I really hope that you take the time and you trust that with over 490 minimum people that have succeeded in finding love by taking these steps and learning this information that I'm sharing with you today, and throughout this rest of this year, you will find and or create exceptional love in your life. So that's your step 1. That's your video 1. Love, the myth, the secrets, the legend. I'm going to be sharing so much through this program. And I look forward to seeing how much you build and how much you grow. So for now, have an amazing day. Come back to this video, watch it over and over and over again. I will put in your email the steps that you're supposed to take and why, but come back to this, watch it again, stick it on your phone, put your headphones on, close your eyes, do it without actually watching my face. do it over and over and over again for the next 2 weeks until this starts to stick. I wish you an amazing evening. Thank you so much for participating and partaking in this journey with me. I can hardly wait for us together to get you exactly where you want to go. I send you much love, and we'll talk to you again in 2 weeks.
Remember, if you want something you never had, you must first do something you've never done in order to achieve it. Have a fabulous day.